Groovy Jeff, good, thank you. How are you today, my friend?
Let's see. Good. I'm trying to figure out what. Oh, hold on just a second. There we go.
Alrighty.
How you doing?
Welcome, Jeff. We've got Jeff here today from the Guitar and Whiskey Club. How are you doing, my brother?
Good. How are you doing, Sam?
Doing well, thanks. I appreciate it. It was a nice night of just like tossing and turning last night. So you can see I'm about half asleep still. Welcome home, Groovy. How's your day been going today, Mr. Donovan?
So far, so good. I can't complain.
Glad to hear it. We're here to talk about your show coming up May 5th, primarily at Rockefeller's.
Yep.
You'll be playing with System of a Clown.
Yep. And many others.
And many others.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Jeff. So first off, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a guitar player. I founded the band, the Guitar and Whiskey Club. I've been a musician since I was 6 years old, something like that. My parents were working musicians, so I kind of grew up in the, family doing it.
Radical.
And this band is one that I put together in, 2016. Actually, late 2015. It's gone through a couple lineup changes, as many bands do throughout the years, but we've got a solid lineup now that's been together for the last 2 years, and just looking forward to getting out there and playing more.
Wonderful. So explain the lineup to us. Do we have the classic two guitar player, bass and drums with the lead singer and a backup singer?
No, we actually were a two guitar band, but after the pandemic, we changed back to a one guitar band, so it's a four-piece. Myself playing guitar, Mark Perdue, who does all the vocal duties, David Carvajal, who's our drummer, and Frank Yano, who is the bass player and also does backing vocals.
Groovy. So then the second guitar player turns to whiskey then. So what kind of whiskey are we talking? We go to a show and we get the four people with the one guitar player and then the extra shot of whiskey. Is that Jameson? Is that Jack Daniels? I'd probably go for the Glen.
I'd go for out of those two, I'd go for the Chamber myself. Yeah.
Same here. A little bit of bite with it. A little bit of bitter with the sweet.
Exactly.
Yeah. Groovy. So when was the last show you played, my friend?
Last show that we played, a couple of weeks ago. Let's see, when was that? That was, it was at the Whisky. That would have been March 25th with Quiet Riot.
Groovy. How did your show go, Jeff?
It went excellent. It was a great show. Place was packed. Crowd was great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we always have a great time at the Whisky. So.
Yeah, Whiskey's great, and you guys got a good turnout there. That's wonderful. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah. So hoping to have a good turnout at Rockefeller's as well. So this will be our first time down there. Yeah, this will be our first time down there. Looking forward to it.
Dig it.
So
Rockefeller's May 5th.
May 5th, that's right.
What time will you be playing Guitar and Whiskey Club?
I think we go on, let's see, when are we scheduled to go on? At 8:30 we go on.
Awesome. So we got May 5th at Rockefeller's. We got the Guitar and Whiskey Club at 8:30. You guys got to go down there and catch them because they're radical. Will you please explain, other than your parents were working musicians, what inspired you to play guitar?
Well, actually, that's a good question. So my father was a guitar player, and so I started playing the guitar when I was about 5 or 6. But I also switched to drums, and when I was about 9 years old, I had this burning desire to play drums. So I played drums for a good 3 or 4 years. And when I was 13, I heard Good Times, Bad Times by Led Zeppelin for the first time.
Yeah.
And when I heard the solo, it just kind of knocked me out of my chair. And I said, you know what? I think I want to play guitar again. So, I mean, I'd never stopped, but it was at that point that I made it my main focus. And I've kind of never looked back from there. So I would say that, Jimmy Page definitely had a huge influence on me, and especially with that solo.
Radical, hell of a guitarist, hell of a
Yeah,
solo, and a great song as well.
yeah,
Lyrically, percussion wise, and guitar based. And you were playing the drums at the time, so you were loving Led Zeppelin.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Rad.
Yeah, but that solo definitely did it for me. And then going through the years and everything, Michael Schenker was a big influence on me. Probably one of the biggest influences on me. I absolutely love his playing, his phrasing, everything. So, um, yeah. And, of course, all the other normal influences. But I'd say,
Normal?
well, Eddie Van Halen. Who can deny Eddie Van Halen's influence on the guitar world,
Right.
George Lynch is also another favorite of mine. Love his playing. Brian May, of course, can't deny his talent as well. Just a phenomenal player who had a huge influence on me.
Oh yeah, glad to hear it.
Yeah.
What do you think about the drums with the percussion element with the guitar? Because I understand the difference between the melodic and the purely melodic and harmonic resonance of the guitar, and then with the percussive element, do you bring that percussive element that you learned on the drums into your guitar playing much?
Other than, I would say, and I think most people would say this that have played with me, is I do have pretty good timing. So I can keep the beat going in my head and pretty much follow to a click just in my head. But other than that, I really don't let it influence me too much. I let the drummer do his own thing, and but yeah, it sticks with me. And a lot of times when I'm thinking of songs, I will have a specific drum beat in my head. And I got a little electronic kit back here, and of course the programmable drums over there. So I can pretty much do anything that I want to as a demo, knowing the drums and how to play them. But yeah, that's pretty much as far as it goes these days. So
Radical. So you do much of that. You get on your own drum kit and you record the drums, and then you throw the
I,
drum part down.
I don't really do that much of it unless there's one specific thing that I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be difficult to explain. I need to do it to show somebody. That's and my drumming skills aren't really up to par, just so to speak. I spend most of my time playing guitar, so. But I can still do it well enough to get an idea across. So.
Right, the 10 to 13 didn't quite get you to John Bonham status.
Right, not quite. Yeah.
Understandable. So do you communicate through feeling? Is what I try to go for with musically when I'm trying to get an idea across. How do you get it across to your band members typically?
It's absolutely with feeling. I mean, I would say that every song that comes out it has a meaning for me. At least the lyrical content. I mean, I don't write 100% of the lyrics, but I do write quite a bit of them. And feeling for me, I mean, it's not about being a technical player up there. It's all about the song. The audience could really care less if your solo is just shredding if the song doesn't make it. So I'm always trying to play to the song, whether that means there's some guitar gymnastics in there or not. It's really whatever is good for the song.
Radical. So we keep the splinter in the side, so we remember that we don't just shred all the time. We got to make sure there's a point to it. We're telling a story of some kind.
Yeah, exactly. And that's probably why I'm drawn to a lot of the guitar players that I am, is because I feel that they put that across so well. Michael Schenker, Brian May, all those guys, you can sing along to their solos, throughout the song. It's not something you just have to sit back there and go, wow, that was great. That guy's awesome. He goes faster than anybody else I've ever seen play.
Ow, 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 ow. You impressed me? Wait, you impressed me? You didn't do your job if you impressed me. I apologize. If you expressed something and you moved me, you did your job. Ow. It feels like getting hit in the face over and over and over and over. Like, I imagine somebody sitting in a race car and they're trying to go really fast. but they're not really going that fast. They're stepping on the gas pedal, but they're not going very fast. And the cars are very impressive. But you gotta go around the track and then downshift around the corner just right, and then upshift so you get that lift. So you go boom, and you can feel that car wheeling around the track.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Heck yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, it's basically in a nutshell. I just try to play to the song and what the song needs. So
groovy. And so you said you write most of the lyrical content yourself.
Yeah, that's. I mean, so before we got Mark in the band, the current vocalist, I wrote 100% of the lyrics. Mark came in. He has his own ideas, which I greatly appreciate, and I think he's a phenomenal songwriter in his own right. So we have definitely, collaborated on things since then. Whereas I'll send him a song and I say, I got the music, I got no lyrics, I got a title, but I don't have the lyrics. And I've also sent him a song and said, I don't got the lyrics, but I got all the music done. And then there are still songs that, will rip through my head that it's like I have the lyrics done as I'm writing the music almost. So yeah, but it's great to have the collaborative effort. And Frank Yano, who is our current bass player, has also brought a couple of his own songs, complete songs. He wrote the music and the lyrics to them that we're doing live now. So yeah, with the new lineup, it's really taken a lot of the pressure off me to write 100% of the material. And I think it's really going well. Both Frank and Mark are great songwriters, and having them on the team is a fantastic thing.
Awesome. So songwriting, that sounds great. It's always great to collaborate with people when you're coming together and you actually have a connection that works emotionally, and they can feed off of you and you can feed off of them. It becomes like a beautiful vampiric quality of a relationship. It's like that's what music's supposed to be. You stay up all night and you get to be vampires feeding off of each other's music.
Exactly.
Beautiful. So do you work based on your own personal story? Do you write your lyrics, or how do you go about your lyrical content? Poetically, storyline?
Almost all of my lyrics are rooted in some personal experience I've had. There's a couple of them that I wouldn't say it relates to personal experience. It relates to how I'm feeling about world events at the time. But for the most part, everything in there is based on real world experience and real life experiences. One of the few ballads that we have called "I Know," for instance, was about my first real girlfriend I ever had.
Right.
Took me about 40 years to get the music and the lyrics out, but I finally did. And a couple of other songs are Rebel Fires is a good one, for instance, which is about the need to play music, and specifically live music. It's about going to the clubs. It's about getting through the back alley into the load-in and getting out.
Yeah. Right, and playing for the show and giving the people some feeling and like getting it out there and actually having an energetic relationship.
Exactly. So.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, it really does all come from my heart. Every now and then I'll get some kind of wild tangent I'll go off on that really doesn't have anything to do with my real life, but that's very rare. That would be the exception.
Right, and that's real life to an extent, a wild tangent. So on a wild tangent, that first girlfriend you're talking to took 42 years. You're married to her, right? It took you 42 years to realize that you're still in love with her?
No, we didn't get married. We broke up when we were still teenagers, and that has a lot to do with what the song is about. But we remain good friends, and that's also what the song is about. So
beautiful! Congratulations, my friend. That's amazing. Yeah.
It's always nice. It's always nice when you can keep good people in your life. So
right, keep as many good people in your life as you can, and write as much good music as you can.
Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely. So when did you start writing songs, my friend?
Uh, Actually, I wrote my first song when I was 8 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, it was kind of. I really wish I actually at that time had it. I wrote it all when I was in school. I just wrote sheet music when I was in school of the whole song, and I took it home and showed it to my dad. My dad said, "You wrote this while you were at school?" And I said, "Yeah." I have no idea what happened in that sheet music. I really wish I still had it right now, but I would say, so that was the first song I ever wrote. And I didn't really write it thinking of a band. It was just a tune that was going through my head. And then writing for the band really began in earnest probably when I was about 16. I was in a band called Lady Witch with one of my best friends and two of my other good friends. And
Radical.
we didn't really do anything except stay in our studio, which was actually my bedroom in the garage, and play all day. That was basically all we did. So I'd say that's probably where I cut my teeth writing rock songs. And for the most part, I've just really never stopped. I mean, I've written a lot of material that wouldn't be right for this band. It was just something I wrote on my own. And I do have a few songs that I do on my own, release them every now and then, just as like a little solo project or whatever. Because they wouldn't fit with the band material. But it's just something I've always done. Yeah, like I said, in earnest since I was probably about 16 or so.
Radical. Awesome. So did you guys release any music when you were 16 from that first band, or get it recorded?
We got it recorded to some extent. I mean, back then, this was what, 1979, 78, 79. I mean, basically all we had was one of those little cassette recorders, and we'd set it in the middle of the room and just press play when we, did the song. And so I actually do have some of those recordings, and thankfully they've got these, new devices. You can take your cassettes and run them in and convert them into MP3s. So, I did that the first chance that I could.
Awesome.
But yeah, and then, throughout the years, there was one band. I went through several bands, through my mid-20s and, things like that. And I guess it was when I was about 28 was probably the closest I ever came getting signed. It was a band, I don't know if forget the name, Salem's Lot, something like that. But, we came like this close, and it was right when the whole 80s hair metal kind of music, which was what we were doing at the time, kind of died. Grunge kind of took over.
Right.
And it felt like we were 2 weeks away from signing, and then it just all disappeared. All disappeared. And I just said, wow. I'd say that's the closest I ever got. And nowadays, in today's world, I don't even know what that means anymore, getting signed. I mean, everybody's doing everything on their own. There's still record labels that do promote bands and music, but for the most part, these are, really huge stars. And the record companies now, they don't really, promote the way that they used to. So, yeah, in today's world, I don't even know what that would mean, because
right,
you can do everything yourself. You can press your own records, you can press your own CDs, you can, and like I said, we just did our EP and had it produced on CD, high quality. And a good 50% of the people I talk to, because they still make CDs.
Right.
So it's a changing environment, that's for sure.
Change environment. So what does it mean to make it these days? To get out to festivals, to play big festivals? Because as you said, you can get a CD out there, and you can get your music online very quickly and very easily. You can get it recorded decently. There's a lot of equipment. So what does it mean to make it these days? To tell your story? to get your music as good as you want it to be, to get a bunch of people to listen to it, to play live?
Yeah, I would say all of the above. One of the biggest goals is, at least for us, is to record our songs to the best of our ability. Um, uh, get out there and play as many good shows as we can. We don't really look to play every single weekend. In fact, for the most part, we gig about once a month because we choose our gigs very selectively. Coming up, we actually have 3 gigs within a 2-week period, which is very unusual for us. Like I said, we normally just try to do 1-2 gigs a month, make them really high quality gigs, and give it our everything.
Yeah.
I know a lot of bands who go out there and do 4-hour sets twice a week, and you can almost see that the energy level isn't there because they're doing it so much. So we like to go out there, we're ready for the show. We give it everything we got. And,
Yeah. You
so.
want everybody to get your energy when you get out there, that you want them to
Right.
feel actually everything that you've got to give them.
Right. And it really does, one of the things that gets me on a natural high is when we get done playing a set and I go off to meet people after we're playing and they're still humming the choruses to some of the songs. And, that's a great feeling where people, actually they just heard it and they can already remember it and they're singing it, so.
Yeah. They can
Yeah.
relate to the music. They can
Yeah.
feel it. They can get the words in their brain. They can sing it. They can actually get down with it and understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. And then we have a lot of songs in our repertoire that really lend itself to the audience participating in the songs. Some choruses that are really easy to remember, and Mark, our singer, really gets them going. Okay, I want you guys to sing along with me on this and that and everything. And normally we get a really good response with that. We have a lot of people out in the crowd, going for the gang vocals and everything. So
so you get people actually joining in and singing along with choruses and stuff and getting down to the show.
Yep.
If you put on a fun show, you come out and you see the Guitar and Whiskey Club, you get a dance. Yeah, I presume that you have some dance music in there.
I would say there's a few that you can dance to. Yeah.
Groovy. So if there's a few you can dance to, in general, what would your sound be more like, so people get an understanding of what they're going to see when they come out on the 5th?
So that's a good question. We're definitely a hard rock band. A lot of the reviews, I just go off some of the reviews that we've had. Where one of the most common comments I hear is that this is old school hard rock, but is produced in a modern day, production quality, and we have a different spin that is, not rooted in old terminology, but rooted in today's terminology. I guess that's how I would say it. But yeah, hard rock, high energy, and we try to make every show a show. Like my favorite artists do. We actually, to play the part. We don't get off our day jobs and go with the same clothes on stage and sit there and look at our feet all day, So right. When you come to one of our shows, you're going to see a really high energy show. And I think you will really like it. So, please come out, see for yourself.
Right, you get a high energy show, you get good old rock, hard rock. We're not talking dancing, we're not talking heavy metal. You're not going to be straight moshing to it necessarily, but you get the energy. Right. So you get to have a good time, and you get to headbang a little bit if you want to.
Yep.
Hell yeah. You're not going to be tangoing with the person next to you.
Probably not.
Which is okay. That's like back to the first sweetheart in high school. She tangoed. I never learned to tango. Maybe that was my biggest mistake, not learning to dance with the girl. So, all right, I figure that's number one. If the girl dances in high school, you got to learn how to dance, and then
Yeah.
if you can
I'm,
stay.
I'm not much of a dancer myself either. You know, I'll do a slow dance every now and then, but yeah, I'm not much of a dancer.
Every now and then, maybe a slow dance. Right, that's beautiful. Not much of a dancer. I can dig it, totally. Super groovy, but if you can stay friends with them, all the more power to you. And so, an EP out right now.
Right.
And what's the name of that EP, my friend?
It's just self-titled, Guitar and Whiskey Club.
Guitar and Whisky Club. And you can find that on all the major platforms. Yeah, Pandora, Spotify, Apple, all the streaming.
Everywhere, yeah.
Groovy. And you're working on a full album at the moment as well.
We are indeed, yes. We are already recording the material. A few of the songs are already done. We have a few more to go. And hope, we're trying to get it out as soon as we can. So I don't know if that's going to be this year or the beginning of next year, but it is all in progress, and we are working very diligently on getting it finished.
Beautiful. And what's the name of that album, my friend, Jeff?
We haven't decided yet, so we still got a couple months to go before we even get to that point of deciding on the title, and so we got a couple things kicking around our head, but we're gonna just leave that and surprise everybody when we come out with it.
Dig it. Surprises. Those are always fun. Wait, always fun? You have a lemon-sized mass in your brain, and your brain is bleeding.
That's not a good surprise. Yeah.
It was fun, though. Surprises are fun, even if they're not good surprises. Cheers to fun, you guys. Jeff and the Guitar and Whiskey Club. We're gonna have fun on May 5th at Rockefeller's with System of a Clown and many others.
It's gonna be a fun night. Yeah.
We have Guitar and Whiskey Club going on at 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30. So be there by 8:30.
Be there by 8:30 to see the Guitar and Whiskey Club. And let me ask you, I have a question that got asked to me. I think I was 21. What's it mean to sell your soul to the devil?
Boy, that's a good question. It depends. There's so many different ways to look at that. I think, I guess it would be selling out to anything that matters to you. There are still things that matter to me that are more important than anything else. The health of my family, the health of my pets, even. There are some people that I know that let the industry get in their way of everything. I think that's the closest way that you come to say, you sold your soul, is that you're just soulless and you don't care. And I still, like I said, care about a lot of other things very deeply. And if there was ever something that came about, like a family member or something like that, I would put a family member ahead of the band. So at least for a little while.
Right, because there's the next question. It's like, okay, with family, I respect that. You got to put your family first and your pets. I take care of my dog. I learned that from Sublime. He loved his dog too. So, got to love the dog. So when you put everything ahead of your music, could that be selling your soul to the devil too?
It could be. Like I said, I think personally that there are so many different ways to look at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's just always good to get angles on that idea. What it means. It's not necessarily a trip to space where you remember you're an alien and you come back and live a new life.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. You'd have to ask Ronnie James Dio. I think he would answer the question a little bit better.
Right, or maybe Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, somebody like that. Yeah. So.
I think Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and Jim Morrison when I think that question for some reason.
They might have a better answer for you. Yeah.
I'm not sure. It'd be hard to speak with them. I figured that there were like 3 different people put into one body, or one person put into three different bodies, perhaps that's what it means.
Yeah.
I agree. There's all kinds of different answers to that question, Jeff. So to put your family ahead of your work is a beautiful thing. And I think that that's a very, very respectable quality in a man. So that's beautiful. And you guys are going to have an album coming out either the end of this year or next year. You have the Guitar and Whiskey Club self-titled album out now on all major platforms.
Yeah.
What's your next show coming up, Jeff?
Next show is actually April 26th at the Majestic Ventura Theater, and we are opening up for Angel. I don't know if you're familiar with Angel and who they are.
I'm not.
Well, they were a huge band in the 70s and 80s. I was actually, I started listening to them when I was 13. I actually was in their fan club when I was 14 years old. Because of that, I got to go see them do some filming on some projects. Saw them play live at the Long Beach Arena when I was 15, and then again when I was 16. And, like all other bands, they kind of went their own way for a few years, and now they're back with two of the original founding members, Punky Meadows, Frank Domino. And I really never thought that I would see them play live again, let alone share the stage with them. So I'm very excited about this one coming up on the 26th. And immediately after that, we're playing on April 28th at a club called The Mint, LA, which is down in Los Angeles. That'll be the first time that we've played that club as well. So we're looking forward to that. Hear nothing but great things about the club. And the same about Rockfellas. Rockfellas is the week after that on May 5th. And again, Rockfellas is a place that we have never played, but have heard great things about. So we're really looking forward to it.
Same. I've heard great things about Rockfellas, and people who have played up there have said it's a great venue.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to that. And I love the quality venues.
Yeah, you get a good venue, you get a good show, you get a good band, you get a good sound, you get to go out and you get a headbang. You don't necessarily get a dance and you don't necessarily get a mosh, but if you want to enjoy some good heavy music, you can make it to Rockfellas on May 5th at 8:30 to see the Guitar and Whiskey Club, and they're going to be playing at the Mint on, you said, the 28th of April?
28th, yeah.
In Los Angeles. And what time are you going to be playing that show, Mr. Donovan?
Let's see. At the Mint, I think we go on early at the Mint. Yeah, we go on at 8 o'clock at the Mint.
8 o'clock at the Mint in Los Angeles, and then on the 26th, you were playing a theater of some kind. It sounded royal. It's
called the Majestic Ventura Theater. It's a historic landmark in Ventura. It's a beautiful theater. It's a huge theater. The stage is great. We've played there before. Terrific place to play, and we're opening for Angel. We're not exactly sure on what time we go on just right now. We think it's somewhere between 8 and 8:30, but again, we're not 100% sure. But if you're there by 8, you'll see us. So
if you're there by 8 at the Majestic Ventura Theater, you'll get to see them as well as Angel, because they're opening up for Angel. So you get to see two great bands. Hell yeah, on the 26th of April, 28th of April, we got going on, and the Mint in Los Angeles, and we have to get you up. Everybody gotta go on the 5th to Rockfellas. Yeah, and that's gonna be a bomb show, and we got System of a Clown going and rocking with them as well at 8:30. So please, everybody, come out and see some wild rock and roll, heavy rock, hard rock with the Guitar and Whiskey Club. We got Jeff Donovan here as the main guitar player and the main songwriter as well. Can I ask you, what's your favorite band?
Wow. Boy, that's a loaded question. It's so hard to say. I think if I had to give you one band, it would be UFO, the original UFO.
If you had to give me two.
If I had to give you two. Boy, that's really tough. Probably Queen.
Groovy.
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's really tough to come up with, you know. I mean, I would rather give you like 20 names of 20 bands and say,
Right.
listen to any of these every single day. So
UFO though, I don't know UFO. Can you explain? We've only got about 5 minutes left on the podcast, but just so that we can get this in, can you explain a little bit of UFO to us, just so that I know Queen and his 7.5 octave vocal range, which is amazing.
right.
Cheers to that.
So UFO was a band that came out in the early 70s. Well, actually, I think their first incarnation was in the late 60s. But when they got the blonde bombshell, as they call him, Michael Schenker, as the lead guitarist, and that's when they really started exploding. They're just known as a very solid band, great songwriting, excellent live, very energetic, very high energy. But Schenker's guitar playing was what really made it for me. I listened to those albums to this day. I at least listen to UFO once a week. So, so that was, and again, it really relates back to my influence by Michael Schenker. But the band in general is just fantastic. They have a lot of hit songs. If you were growing up during that time, you definitely know who UFO was. So
Radical, beautiful. It makes me think of like a beautiful message that can come down from an alien somewhere and be like, we're here to bring you a message. And then it helps save your life, or maybe it takes you off on a track on a different life to help you learn something about that you needed to learn to live the life that you actually wanted to live. Something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
UFO, bringing messages to people. Well, that kind of makes my brain squirm off a little bit, though. You know, it's like, okay, is that truly a UFO? It's very possible, though. We live close to Disneyland, though. It's possible that Disney's coming in, and I'm gonna keep Disney out of the UFO. That's a little much for me here already. UFO, thank you for your messages and for being aliens. We understand it. Alienation happens. It's no big deal. No big deal.
Thank you for not abducting me. Yes.
Right. Thank you for not abducting me. And if you did, thank you for bringing me back and allowing me to have a new life. I understand. I got knocked out the other night, and I woke up in bed with my socks and my pants on. And I didn't know what happened. I was like,
damn aliens.
It might have been the UFO. I might have got abducted. Like, oh man, my whole life changed the next day too. I was like, oh, wow, everything's different. Well, all right. UFO, I tell you what, brother, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, stranger things have happened. I understand this. So we're going to get a beautiful show from the Guitar and Whiskey Club here. We're going to have to be finishing up in just a minute, but I want to remind everybody that you're going to be playing. We're focused on May 5th at Rockefeller's, because that's going to be a rock and Rockefeller show. And if you want to go out before that, we got the 28th, the Mint, we got the 26th at Turkish Theater in Ventura. Yeah. By 8 o'clock, any of those days, and you'll be cool to see the Guitar and Whiskey Club. And you're gonna love some heavy rock and roll.
Yeah, we're looking forward to meeting some new people out in Corona as well. So we've never really played in that area, and I think that this venue is going to be a great start for us in that area. So please too come out and see us at Rockefeller's. I promise you, we'll give it all. We'll give it our all. So
Rockefeller's in Corona, May 5th, 8:30. Everybody, the Guitar and Whiskey Club. I just want to thank you, Jeff, Mr. Donovan, for being on the Puff Podcast today. Do you have anything else you'd like to leave us with your wise words?
Just, keep enjoying life, keep rocking, come out and see the Guitar and Whiskey Club. Join the club. We'd love to have you.
Join the club, guys. It's always a good time with the Guitar and Whiskey Club. Jeff?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being on, my friend. We look forward to your shows, my brother.
All right. Take care. Have a great day.
You as well. Peace and love, my friend. It's Puff Podcast, signing off.